video, we'll be learning how to perform an analysis of variance, or ANOVA, in R. Now, with this line, we'll load our data, and we have types of drugs and ages of users of drugs. What we want to do first, before we perform the ANOVA, is recode the drug data as a factor. Because if we run a structure on drug in our data, we'll see that it's just numeric. Because it's only numeric, R doesn't recognize the 1s, 2s, and 3s as being 3 separate groups, it just recognizes them as plain numbers. And so the ANOVA won't work. What we need to do before we perform the analysis of variance is get R to recognize that these numbers signify some kind of group or level membership. And recoding that to a factor with this line will do that. So now, instead of 41 different numbers, what we have is a factor with 3 different levels, or 3 different groups: group 1, group 2, and group 3. Now we can run an ANOVA to see the differences of within and between group variance in these 3 groups, and whether or not age or drug preference depends on age. So the code to run an ANOVA in R is just aov, or analysis of variance. And then you type the names of the 2 variables that you're trying to find the analysis of variance between. So in R, typically, you use the y variable first, and then the x variable second, with this little line in between. So we're going to be computing the analysis of variance for age on drug group, and our data set is just called data. But this data command is just where you would type the name of the data frame that you have. So if we run that line, we get an object called aov down here. And now, to view our results, we're going to need to run a summary command. So we just type summary, and in the parentheses, we type the name of the model that we just ran, aov. And what that does is it displays the summary of our data on this screen here. We can see our p-value is listed as being statistically significant, meaning that the variance, or the difference in variance, between groups of different drug users varies significantly. So we see that age has some kind of influential factor on what kinds of drugs people choose to use. But analysis of variance doesn't really tell us much more than that. So in the next video, we're going to get into regressions and making predictions about data.